Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. We are going into the second game of Rich, one of the best up-and-coming Protosses in the world, against Flash. Their first game was truly an excellent one on Apocalypse. I think it was like this build that Flash is doing might be the future, right? Like, obviously there's like a ton of branches and things that exist. But that was an exciting game. I feel like Flash opened it really well. I feel like Rich opened it really well. It was awesome, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to be doing here on Citadel. I'm honestly giddy right now watching this occur, like watching the metagame kind of shift and change. There's just something beautiful about having a player of Flash's level available to kind of be like, yeah, this is the way it should be done. And yeah, I'm looking forward to continue learning this. And a lot of people have asked, like, do I think Flash is going to play in the next ASL? I do not. I just want to make that clear. I don't think that Flash really gains anything. He can go to ASL when he's completely ready, when he feels like it. Because I don't know that there's too much motivation for Flash to play tournaments, right? He's won so much more than anyone else ever that literally no one could ever catch up. The only player that could ever actually catch up to Flash would be Nada if he came back and won like 6 ASLs, right? Like, he would have to actually do that. And then we'd be like, oh, okay, is he the GOAT? Has he taken over? And it's not, Nada's like 40 years old with, he's got a daughter. He's busy with his business and stuff. It's just not likely to happen. So yeah, I don't think that we're going to see Flash in this ASL. I think maybe next year we might see him in one, is my guess. Is, people will be like, come on, man, play. We want to see you. And, maybe he'll give in to that. Now, taking a look at this game, it is a cross-spawn Nexus first. So Rich is a truly talented gamer. And we'll see what Flash is going to do, because he's going factory expand. I assume he's going to end scout here. But there's not a real good way to rush cross spawn. Now, Flash, I talked about in one of his games about how, like, for instance, the reason why he thinks that you should do factory expansion is to punish a Nexus first build, and how sometimes he'll over punish to scare his opponents into not doing it against him. Okay, so this is kind of a known quantity about Flash. But when it's cross-spawn, he'll probably have his command center started before he even knows that it's there, right? So, little bit of an issue in that regard. Comes down here, and he's going to be like, all right, he's bottom left. And, yeah, Rich's build is looking very, very good right now. 2 Marines only out here. That's kind of interesting to me. He's already kind of feeling out what's going on, skipping a Marine. The 3rd Marine you make for safety, but I guess because he's cross-spawn, he's like, no, it'll be fine. Now, he starts his command center, and as the SCV comes up and sees that the Nexus is in fact done, Flash is not going to have a huge amount of options. Might try to send that Vulture across the map, see if he can get some probes. So he sees this. Rich doing a good job blocking. Ooh, he gets in. So he's going to see 2 gate, no range. Okay, and only a single Zealot. So he'll try to keep this live, and I guess we'll see what he comes up with. Now, how does Flash want to try to counter this? I think, personally, on Citadel, you should be going for a very fast 3rd command center. Go mines into a very fast 3rd command center. I think that's... And as you can see, the Dragoon, by the way, is out by the time the Vulture gets down here. But I think that that's the best way to play it on Citadel. That's something that Sharp has been doing. I think Sharp has some of the best TVP in the world right now, for sure. He's definitely had some unbelievably strong TVP games in the last few months. And in fact, even the last ASL was looking just amazing. But a second factory goes up. Now, that doesn't mean he won't go fast 3rd command center. But if you see a second factory go up against command center or Nexus first, a lot of times this turns into a pressure build. I don't think a pressure build is going to work here. Now, he makes a 3rd Vulture. So if it turns into a pressure build, it'll be a very late pressure. And he'll go speed. But it could be something like he'll go speed. And there's an armory. Okay, so he's just kind of playing it. a little bit normally, right? I wonder if he's going to start speed or not. Really am not entirely sure. Second add-on very, very quickly. Lays a lot of mines around, so he's, he'll at least have intel as to what's going on. And one thing I do want to note is that Flash is actually only down 2 workers right now, which is kind of impressive. Well, I guess it's going to alternate between 2 and 4, but that's not too bad for a Nexus first. And this was a semi-greedy one. It wasn't the greediest, but a semi-greedy one. So Flash's production has been like exactly perfect, I would say. And then, Rich is sometimes with Nexus first. What you do is you cut a few probes to make sure you have the units to hold on against everything. And you can actually see he's kind of closing the gap. So like we have like not completely perfect probe production here from his opponent. But yeah, Flash is just playing a very normal game. It actually looks entirely similar to the other games we've seen. He's got the 4 vultures again with speed on the way. What he did here was he pushed the armory forward and slowed down the engineering bay a little bit, right? So he got basically armory before the engineering bay, whereas in previous games, he did it the other way around. It's like a timing thing. When your opponent goes Nexus first, all their tech is a little bit slower. Now, this is turning into 2-base Arbiter. Okay, so 2-base Arbiter is actually a pretty good follow-up to Nexus first, in my opinion. And Flash's build doesn't actually have a way to confirm what's going on, right? He's got a lot of good mines around. Okay, he's going to see an observer, so that's good. Like, that's gonna tell him a part of what's going on. But you can't really know. Like, this could be Carrier. This could be 2-base Arbiter, right? It could be, like, Reaver with speed after Observer. Like, that's definitely a possibility. Flash goes up to 5 factories quickly here. Still just kind of producing siege tanks, going up to 7 tanks at the moment. It looks like he might want to hit a timing push here, like just a regular 5 factory. Actually, he adds a 6, so 100% he'll be attacking. But he still doesn't actually know what the tech is, right? And there's the Arbiter Tribunal getting started. So, Quick Arbiter is actually a very good counter to 5 factory. The reason for that is, like, you won't have enough scans. See, he's starting his academy now, so he will have some scans. We'll see if he utilizes them quickly or not. But, like, basically, it's really hard to get a turret up because the Arbiter will just slow that down. Like, one cloaked Zealot will keep running in and suiciding onto the SCV, making the turret. And basically, the way Quick Arbiter holds 5 factory is through the cloak mechanics specifically. Like, they won't generally have like a stasis or something before you hit, but it'll be too hard to get up the detection, and you can't just use mines. You know, they're standing just out of range of the siege tanks, and if the mines are too close to the siege tanks, Zealots will drag them in. So yeah, that's where I think Rich is advantage here. Like, I'm excited to see what Flash can do. See, there's a DT coming up to his army. This is perfect by Rich. So he's going to burn one of the first 2 scans. But look at this, yeah. Rich just kind of walking forward, and he's going to kill this whole army. This game is, like, basically done. There's no way that this push works now. 0%. So he uses a scan, but, like, just the Gateway army is clearing this before his Arbiter's even ready. But, yeah, like, if, like, let's say he was going Carrier, this push might have worked. Yeah, so GG. We're going to go into the 3rd game because this was so fast. But the way that this played out, yeah, cross-spawn Nexus first, man. The problem with this is Flash just didn't know what was going on. Like, if he had some way to tell that this was 2-base Arbiter, there's 0% chance he would have done that push. He would have expanded more quickly instead. Kind of fascinating, right? Like, he kept his probe count up very, very close, but just didn't have the intel required, right? He had the speed vultures and everything, but Rich just sat here, and you can't... There's not a good way to scout it. How could you scout it? Like, I guess you could go quick comsat scanner. You could go quick dropship. Those are the only 2 ways that you can guarantee a scout on what they're doing. But both of those weaken something like a 5 factory push. So if you go for either of those and he's going carrier, it's like, okay, well, my push is actually going to be a little bit slower and stuff. Maybe it's not as good. Yeah, it's a conundrum. This is the strongest, like cross-spawn Nexus First is considered the strongest build in the game. So I hope Flash figures it out, but I don't know. Anyways, let's just jump into the next game. Okay, so as we go into the third game, it's here on Neodark Origin, and one of the first probes is being sent out here by Rich. So he's going to be going for a Proxy Gateway build. And, you know, every Terran in the world can lose this. I've seen Flash lose to this before, of course. But we'll see. Like, is it Proxy 1 gate? Is it Proxy 2 gate? Where will the gates be? Yeah, so this is going to be probably just a Proxy 1 gate. Only 1 gate fits in this area. He could put his secondary gateway there, I'm pretty sure, but you generally wouldn't do that here. So a single gate coming up. Let's see what Flash does, because I've seen lately a few pros. It seems like the pros are getting a little bit sick of offensive gas with a gateway here. So some people have been taking their gas right away. Flash actually just makes the barracks very quickly. So this is actually adjusted counterplay for this map. That was a 10 racks, and it was very, very fast. It was like 122 or something. He's skipping an SCV to take his own gas. So he's actually kind of playing a little bit middle of the roadish here, where he's getting both. So this is it, like, this is all very, very quick. What's going to be hard is, first off, he doesn't have a SimCity yet. He'll put a depot here, and that's actually makes 2 micro holes for the Marines, so that's good. The gate is very fast, as you can see. This is not even close to done. The Zealot's going to be out before a Marine. And it's going to be hard to afford depot, non-stop Marine production, SCVs being pulled to help hold, and the factory. Right? Like, you can't really afford all that with a build order like this. So it'll be interesting to see how Flash wants to try to bend this around. So he's going to go for the quicker factory here. Notice how, okay, he sees the Zealot in the gateway, so he actually, instead of the factory, because he was bringing this out at 200, 100, instead of making that right away, he makes the depot. So he's going to have to start a factory. I think it's going to be like up here maybe. Oh, he puts it there? Really? He sees this coming, and that's where he puts it. Dude, this guy, he is so confident in himself. That's insane. I would tuck this in so tight to everything else, but this is so far out there. Like, if the SCV is just like, oh, I'm going to build it over here, you can't really do much against that. I don't care if you're Flash. Look at this. He is so on top of trying to push these back. Yeah, see that? Oh, I want to build over here, guys. The SCV RNG on buildings is one of the stupidest things that exists in StarCraft, by the way. Things like this are so silly. Oh, that's funny. Oh, he wants Flash to push him back to the ramp. I think that's what this is. If he pushes him back to the ramp, then he can flank. Not showing that third Zealot. Maybe he's just trying to get him to not understand the power of this army, right? Like, this beats 2 Zealots. Does it beat 3? Does it beat 3 in a goon? No, it doesn't beat 3 in a goon, that's for sure. So here comes this little flank, or does he just send it right in? Yeah, look at this. He brings it to the ramp. Holy shit. Welcome to Neodark Origin, Flash. Yeah. Welcome to fucking half my headaches every day. So Rich kills everything with 3 Zealots and a Dragoon. Flash runs out with the Vulture that's very red. It's red enough that he just puts 2 probes on the ramp, and that will actually catch it. He is making a tank. There's still actually... Flash could still hold this. And look at this. He's very smart. He brings the SCV up to spot. No, you cannot lose this. If he can kill these probes and get up there, he can actually repair with that as well. And look at this. Dude, is he actually going to win this? Oh, the probe gets the Vulture. That's painful, because that's actually where he could have gotten some massive damage. 1 Vulture can kill, like, so many probes with good micro. Now, he gets a tank out. He has Marines. He's making non-stop Marines here. Okay, okay. It's only 2 goons. Range isn't done yet, but it's going to be done pretty soon. Still looking a little bit... Well, you know what? It's somewhat equalized. Somewhat. I still like the position for Rich. He is up a couple workers, which is nice, but just the fact he's going to have range and we don't have upgrades yet for the tank. Right now, he's coming in to engage because he wants this 3rd goon to finish. And if he just lets the pure DPS hit there, that wouldn't have happened. So now he's going to have the 3rd goon. Oh, God, he's going to lose the tank. Yeah, he had to block with those SCVs earlier, actually. He had to, like, instantly block right there and screw up their AI to have a chance to save that tank. So now he's pushed this back, and he actually saved the gate completely. And he's just pushing up the ramp as well. He says, screw it. I don't care if I'm missing shots. Dragoons have a lot of health. Good micro there, keeping that Marine as in a body blocking position as well. Ooh, cannot lose this tank. Trying to get that hit. 1 tank hit from death. Mine's on the way. He has this 2nd gate at home producing as well. Yeah, just the 2 gate production makes this really difficult. He is getting mines. All right, some very, very good pickoffs. Utilizing that, Vulture does great damage against shields, so that definitely helping out a little bit. There is another goon that's about to pop. I like that he started a Zealot as well. He realizes that mines are probably going to be done soon. But good micro there from Rich. Pushes forward, takes out the tank, and Flash is just going to GG. I think it's appropriate as well. With 1 factory siege tank, the fact he still hasn't gotten the gate, he's just not going to be able to catch up losing that many tanks. Yeah, I gotta say, like, if we can just jump back for a second, right? Like, let's jump back a little bit more. Okay, so this was so crazy to me that he made a factory right here. Like, I feel like most players would tuck it here or put it back here, but it kind of blocks the Marines. He kept SCVs up to kind of block, and he can run through this area. You stack the 2nd depot because then you can actually hold position a Marine in here, and it can't be hit by anything that Protoss has. So that was actually pretty smart. This is, like, if you have the micro to do this, it can make you just another level, I tell you. But this move from Rich, I've definitely seen this, where you flank with that. But yeah, Flash pushing down, he had the right amount if all the Zealots were on the right side. And he, like, I think maybe he lost track and didn't realize that there was one more Zealot, that type of thing. But a good tactic by Rich. I'll definitely be watching to see what Flash thinks as far as, like, gas steel builds and how he wants to adjust. The very quick racks was cool. The skipping of an SCV, like, he canceled out an SCV. So, like, you can, well, you can't see right here, but, like, his SCV count would have been higher if he tried to follow a normal build, but he also would have had his gas stolen. Okay, so anyways, that was Rich 3-0ing Flash. I don't think, you know, it was like a Nexus first cross spawn this time, and, you know, the Proxy gate that with the Zealot flank that just kind of won Rich the game. So, like, those two these are more fringe areas that Flash has to explore. I think the Apocalypse game was game 1, is a more indicative showing of exactly where Flash and Rich are at against each other. And these other more fringe situation things like Nexus first and Proxy gate, offensive gas, those things, right? Those are builds where Protoss is, like, completely dictating the flow of the early game, whereas the Apocalypse game is more like a back and forth, right? Where it's like, you do this and I'm doing this, and, like, we'll see where everything ends up, instead of Protoss being like, this build is strong, what are you gonna do? But that's another part of the game that Flash is gonna have to figure out, because those builds have become a lot stronger than when he was, you know, still completely active before military. Okay, anyways, guys, I hope that you enjoyed, you know, this little series against Rich on the ladder. And thanks for watching. See you next time.